Welcome back to the Glac Studios oil painting tutorial. This is Gomati Sivasankaran and we are going through this short tutorial that is covering all the post-production related activities or checkpoints related to oil painting basics. We have gone through documentation, segmentation, pricing, and also to understand a little bit on exhibitions and how could we prepare for exhibitions and such. This is the last class, but this is also something that is needed. Doesn't matter whether you are exhibiting or selling or even gifting. This is a very good practice to varnish. I have seen and I've learned about artists that have not done varnishing on their artwork. I know, for example, L.S. Lowry doesn't varnish. He never varnished, or he stop varnishing, if I have understood correctly, some of his paintings. So it's been L.S. Lowry is there for forever. Yeah. So we do have artists that have not varnished, and it works. So why varnish? Let's attack that question first, even before getting into all the stuff. Why should we varnish? The question I think we should ask ourselves is that when we compare to the artists of Renaissance period or such, some of them varnished, some of them never did. The lifestyle that they're living, the pollution levels that they were, facing versus what we have today. Wow, it's something different. Uh, that is one thing I would like to protect my paintings from. So I cannot, control where the paintings are going and where, what kind of atmosphere they will be through. So that is one thing I think of when it comes to why should I varnish. Another important point for me is that the kind of things that I paint, the way I paint, I do a lot of layers, and I also do wantedly layers that are, if you think of a surface, a flat surface of the canvas, I try to create some impressions that are coming over the body of the canvas slightly. Like, for example, when I do jewelry or such, I make sure that they wantedly, leap out of the canvas a little bit. And the mountain related artworks that I have done, sometimes the plane of the mountain, I wanted it to show rough and tough, and I use knife painting methods, and it's not a smooth surface that's there. So all these things do matter to me, that I have to protect my canvas and artwork with a varnish. So that's why I would say yes to a varnish. So again, you will have to think of yourself as what exactly do you do, and does this make sense for you to varnish or not? First question attacked. Let's look at the types of varnishes and the options available. So now you are thinking, yeah, maybe I want to varnish. Let's continue with this video. So you're thinking like that. And but still wondering, what if it gives a glossy effect on my painting? I don't want it. And there is a matte effect, uh, uh, you know, on the varnish. So you can choose matte or glossy effect, or even in between there is something called satin, or you can actually combine various varnishes to build your own version as well. I think that's what one of the artists I am a fan of, Andrew Tischler. He showed in one of his videos that he is using a couple of types of varnishes, and he is creating his own version or something. And I like that. So that's also a good idea to try. So you can go on creating something about a varnish yourself for your own type of artwork. So that's also possible. So keeping all that in mind, I think we can try to find something that will be appropriate for our own type of artwork. That's one thing. Another, when to varnish. So we attacked why to varnish. Now, what kind of varnishes can we use? When to varnish is this question now. When to varnish? Hmm. Good idea will be to oil paintings, definitely at least 6 weeks. Yeah, 3 to 6 weeks. If possible, it'll be great to leave them alone and then do a temporary varnish. And maybe if you have given already 1 year time space, then it's a good idea to use a permanent varnish. Why oil pigments? Definitely, they are in movement. Even though you don't see any movement, it is like a life that's moving. So give the pigments the time and space, and then it is good for varnish. I do have both types of varnish ready with me, depending upon what I'm doing and when I'm doing. So I do have that. So with all these key questions, that can we now jump right into the process itself. So, in terms of the varnishing process, the first thing, protect your floor. You're going to put the canvas base or flat on the floor, as opposed to what you have been doing vertically, holding them on a easel or something. This will be a flat. That will be a good idea. So protect the floor. Again, I have an old blanket and I do have a cardboard piece that will work fine for my 8 paintings. So that's good for me. So as long as you have that, you need a couple of brushes. One is something to dust off. So this is a very dry local brush that I have, bought from a store, and this is handy for me to brush off and clean dust off. Why dust off? It's dust is oftentimes overlooked, but all these minute particles that are sticking onto the base of the canvas really create some sort of a nuisance. You don't notice that, but over time dust settles in here and there, and then it causes some kind of trouble. So you want to remove the dust from this, and it's a good idea to use a duster, like a brush or a nice duster, or even a good cloth, cotton cloth, soft cotton cloth will be awesome. I will not use a paper towel like this to dust. Paper towels are paper towels. They are meant to be crushed, so they are ready to be crushed in a way. So those particles are going to fall down, and last thing you need is that on your canvas there are some particles of tissue paper lying, and you accidentally have sealed them with a varnish. No. So I have only kept this in case of any accidents. I pour something here on the floor to clean up. So that's exactly why it's sitting here. Another type of brush that is needed is the brush that will be used for the varnish itself, and that again you never use this for painting or anything else. So I use this only for this purpose, and I have a clean jar where I'll pour the varnish. Like I said, I have two types of varnishes that I use. One is a temporary varnish, Winsor and Newton. Another is a permanent varnish, which I will use only when I have, it's already 1 year old and I'm varnishing them off. Then I will use this permanent varnish, and that I think I have a satin base varnish or something. It's not a gloss. It's not a matte, and I think that I chose because it works well with the type of paintings that I do. Again, so these are the basic things that we need. What we do is to, when we get started, pour a little bit of the varnish onto the jar. Not too much. I think it's not even what I have filled is not even 20% of the jar size. Yeah. So I think that's more than enough for me now. Canvas that I'm going to work on, put that flat on the floor, and I'm going to first dust them off. And dusting it off, it's also like a painting process. Slight stress on the brush, so you are brushing them from corner to corner in a same direction. If you go horizontal, it's horizontal. If it's vertical, it's vertical once. And then you do the opposite way, just to be sure the dust is gone. If you have accidentally spilled something else and you see a mark there on the painting, depending upon what you have spilled, whether it's a coffee or tea or any other color maybe, then it will take a while to lift off that, and lifting off that itself is a big process depending upon how strong the color is there. So clean that first, and that part maybe you will have to repaint it depending upon the type of damage that's done. So until it dries, you will have to wait and then only go for a varnish like this in case of such accidents. Just be aware of that. And remember the sides too, because I do the sides. For me, even the sides are equally important. Dusting done, I am going to get started with my varnish as such. I have my varnish ready. I'm going to go over my varnish, taking a little bit of it and with even effort to go around, straight strokes up and down, even pressure to make sure that it doesn't overflow in some places. And that's exactly the reason why you're placing it flat on the floor. So, oh, I like the way she's shining now. It's a satin that I use, like I mentioned, that I like it slightly glossy, not too much. And I go for it. The smell of the varnish could be really, disturbing for some people. So, good ventilation is important. Keep these things out of the hands of interesting or curious toddlers. I'm doing the sides as well, and as you can see that it does take 10 minutes maximum to dry, but I would leave it for a couple of hours undisturbed. And also once I am done with the vertical angle of filling in, I'll go for one more coat with a horizontal. So you know I'm just making sure that there is no part left over and it is so clearly visible in the lights of an exhibition. Guess it is done. So this brings us to the end of this series of small little tutorials covering the post-production activities. And this I have put up, summed up together based on my experiences and also the requirements of my customers or the exhibitors and such. It could be different in your case, and you might have certain questions still unanswered. If so, please do share that with me. Write to me at support@theglazestudio.dk, and I will try to take on the questions. And if there are more of similar, type of questions, then I will try to make videos according to your requirements as well. This is a learning journey, and we all are learning from each other. So there is always scope to learn something new from your questions, and I'm looking forward to that. Until we meet in the next set of tutorials, stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, stay motivated, stay curious to learn more and more and grow more and more as an artist and also as a global citizen. God bless you. Thank you. Bye bye.